going to be making up some red Thai curry paste today. Now, red Thai curry paste, very simple, very quick to make, all goes in the blender. And the good thing is, if you've got any leftovers, you can put it in the freezer and let it freeze. And it'll last a good couple of months, so you've always got some really nice homemade red Thai curry paste. Now, it's not a truly authentic recipe with the ingredients I'm using, but I chose to use these ingredients because they're the kind of things you can easily go and get. You can go down the supermarket, buy all these ingredients, and it ends up really delicious. Now, I used a very similar recipe when I made my red Thai curry video some while ago, and that was absolutely delicious. Really popular video, so go and check that out. And also, I'm probably going to make some fish cakes. If I get a chance, I'll make a video and I'm going to use some of this red Thai curry paste in there, and it'll just give it bags of flavour. So go and make yourself some red Thai curry paste, and if you've got any leftovers, put it in the freezer. You can use like the ice block makers, little trays for the ice block. Put it in there and then you can pop out one or two, whatever you need for your recipe, whenever you need it. So let's go through the ingredients and make it up. Now, I'm going to be using a teaspoon measurement. I've got a little teaspoon there. That's the one you use for your sugar in your cups of tea. Now, I'm going to use 3 teaspoons of coriander seeds, 2 teaspoons of cumin seeds. Now I'm going to put those in a dry pan, heat them up for a few minutes or so just to get the flavours out, and then it's all going to go in the blender with the rest of it. Now I've also got 1 teaspoon of paprika. Now this is hot paprika, so if you've got hot paprika, use that. If you haven't, obviously just use normal paprika. You could even use a little bit more if you want. Salt, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of toasted sesame oil, and then I've got 6 teaspoons of Thai fish sort of sauce really. Now, as an alternative to that, you could use shrimp paste, which is probably a bit more authentic, just use less of it. But I find the Thai fish sauce nice and easy to get hold of, and it's one of those things you can keep in your store cupboard anyway. So that's all those ingredients there. Now I've also got 3 shallots. I mean, you could use, you know, a different kind of onion, but I find shallots really good for that. I've got 3 of those, varying sizes, so peel those, chop them up. 6 cloves of garlic. Then we've got some ginger. Now that's a good piece of ginger there. It's probably 1.5 inches by 1 inch, or, you know, a couple of thumbfuls of ginger. So peel that and we sort of chop it up, put it all in the blender. Then we've got some stems of lemongrass. I've got 3 of those. Chop the ends off, peel off the outer layer, and then just slice it down fairly fine. 4 red chillies. Now with the chillies, I'm going to sort of de-seed them, so take all the seeds out and just sort of chop them up randomly, and then we can put them in the blender. Now these are about a medium heat, so I've got 4 there. Obviously if you wanted to, you could leave, you know, on 1 or 2 of the chillies the seeds in, just to give it a bit more heat. It's up to you. Now I've also got some coriander stems here, so I peeled off the leaves of my coriander because I was going to use that in me, you know, Thai fish cakes later on, but I thought I'd make use of these stems because they actually give it a really beautiful flavour. 1 lime. Now I'm actually going to, you know, take the zest, the sort of green bit if you like, off the outside, use like a cheese grater, a fine setting, and the juice of it. Now obviously, you know, the authentic recipe would have used kaffir lime leaves, but they're not always that easy to get, and equally, you know, maybe the shrimp paste is not so easy to get as well. So, you know, this is a variation. It's not totally authentic, but you'll find it'll be a really nice red Thai curry paste. So there's all my ingredients. Now I'm going to go over to my hob, and I'm going to start off by just toasting the coriander seeds and the cumin seeds, and then we're going to put it all in the blender after we've got it peeled and chopped up, and it's done in no time at all. So let's go over to the hob and get the frying pan. So I've come over to the hob. Now I'm just going to switch the frying pan on. I'm probably going to put it on about a medium, or just below medium really. Now I've got me coriander and cumin seeds. Put those in. We're just going to dry roast them, so don't be tempted to add any oil. Dry roast them, and say roughly about a medium heat, until they become really nice and fragrant and, you know, slightly toasted. So give them a move around now and again. There you go. I reckon mine are done. Just slightly toasted, bit of smoke coming off there. Take them off the heat, and now ready to go in the blender. So let's go back over to the table and start putting everything in the blender. Now I've got me cumin and coriander seeds, and we've toasted those in the frying pan just for a few minutes or so. Now what we need to do is kind of break them up with a pestle and mortar and just crush them down. So I've just been sort of, twisting that and breaking it all down, and we've got it fairly powdery, so just give it the final whiz. That's it. And that's ready to go in the blender with all the other ingredients. So let's move that out of the way, bring the blender and put it all in there, and it's all done. So let's just take the lid off. So I'm just going to put all the ingredients in there. Now you can see I've got them all laid out, so I can just put them in really. Doesn't matter on the order. Now with the chillies, I did leave some with the actual seeds in, just to sort of give it a little bit of heat, because I did taste the chilli and it wasn't as hot as I'd like. So a few chilli seeds really make a little bit of difference. So let's pop them all in there. I just kind of chop things up randomly really. And we've got the lemongrass and the ginger there, so put that in. Again, I've chopped it up really to help this blender, because it's not the best blender in the world. It sort of, has our job blending things. Then we've got all those shallots and the garlic, so put those in. So we've got like a blender full really here. Now also going to put these coriander stems. Hopefully I can get the lid on at the end of this. And then I've got the lime. Now with the lime, you see I've kind of zested the outside, got a fair amount there. Give it a beautiful flavour. And I'm also going to use the juice of the lime. So I'll slice that in half in a minute, squeeze the juice in there. Now I might as well put the rest of it in. Got that hot paprika. Got about a teaspoon of salt. And just put these liquids in as well. Sesame oil and fish sauce. There you go. So really, all we've got to do is the juice of the lime. So let's squeeze that in there as well. Good thing about limes, you don't get any pips, so you haven't got to worry. Just give it a good squeeze. And if you feel it needs a little bit more juice, you can always put another little bit of lime juice in there as well. Doesn't hurt. In fact, I might actually use, in the end, another half. But you can vary the amounts of these sort of ingredients and just make it up how you like. That's it, that'll do. Now let's put the lid on there. Give that a good whiz. Now before I do give that whiz, don't forget we had that coriander and cumin seeds. The ones who made all that effort roasting. So get those in there. You really got to do those. Delish. Now let's put the lid on there. See if we can get this blender to sort it all out. I think we're locked in there. Let's go. There you go. I think that'll do us. Let's have a little look. Have a little dig around in there. That's perfect. Beautiful. So that is ready to go. Now obviously if you was going to use it to sort of cook up your red Thai curry or whatever you're going to do, take out what you need, go and cook that up, put it aside, and you can even keep it in the fridge for a couple of days whilst you're sort of ready to do it. Now what I'm going to do with most of this is actually freeze it. So I'm going to do that because it keeps in the freezer for a couple of months. Maybe label it up and say what it is, because I'm going to put it in the ice cube makers. So you don't want the kids sort of taking off one of these, putting their mouth and thinking it's a nice raspberry or some delicious flavoured sort of ice cube you've made, because it's a bit strong and picker and, it's got a bit of punch to this. Now let's just taste this before we put it in those ice cube makers. So grab myself a spoon. Let's have a little bit of this. Now don't forget, you would normally cook this first in the pan with a little bit of oil. Let me just try it. Oh yeah. I say oh yeah because I'm starting to feel that chilli come through. Oh, with a nice little bit of saltiness, bit of lime. Oh yeah, that is delicious. Now obviously when you taste it like this, oh, you know, it's going to be in its raw state. It's going to be strong flavoured and punchy, and when you cook it up, it does mellow out a little bit. So it's all about the flavour in there, but oh, it's still coming through. That is delicious. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep some of this aside. Let's keep, I don't know, probably a few tablespoons of that, a little bit there for the pot, and I'm going to keep that to make up me Thai fish cakes later on. And in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer all of this into the freezer. So let's just move this back. Got some of these ice cube makers, and grab a spoon, and we're just going to put it in there really, because it will freeze. You can cover it a little bit of cellophane. So let's get it in all of those, flatten them out, and then we've got the right amount. So I would say one of these, let me just get a rough guide here. That's probably about 1 tablespoon, just about. So I'd say each one of these 1 tablespoon, which is about 2.5 teaspoons. But do it yourself so you know the measurement. But I'm going to carry on and do all the rest of those. So I've got my red Thai curry paste, and you can see I've got a bowl of it there, which I'm going to use, you know, for making my Thai fish cakes later on. And the rest of it I've put into one of those ice block makers. So, you know, I didn't use the other one in the end, but obviously if you know, we're going to freeze it all, you could just use 2 of them. So what I'm going to do is wrap them up in a little bit of cellophane, and once they've frozen, then I'm just going to put a little label on them. So just put the date. And so I'm not sure an exact time, but at least 2 months in the freezer will be okay, maybe a bit longer. So let's just leave that like that, and we can put a date on it and put them in the freezer. Thanks for watching my videos. Hope to see you again soon. The original Naked Chef.